Welcome to Date Like a French Woman, the podcast where we approach dating as a sacred healing journey rather than a quest. Welcome to a new episode of Date Like a French Woman, the podcast to help you approach dating like a sacred healing journey rather than a quest. Today, I have a treat for you. You know, since I'm French, I love clothes and I love style. And today, I have an image consultant who's going to give us all kinds of do's and don'ts and much more. Her name is Jojami Tyler, and I'm going to put my glasses on to read her bio. Jojami Tyler is the founder and CEO of Jojami.com, a style and wardrobe consulting company with over 20 years experience in the fashion industry. She's dedicated to reaching out to women to help inspire them to add style and confidence into their lives. She regularly wows audience with her energetic and whimsical approach for achieving the ultimate image impact. She's a professional speaker, author, and conducts seminars and workshops for corporations and business as well. Jojami works one-on-one with individuals to advise them on wardrobe analysis, personal shopping, makeup, and color analysis. She remains focused on her ultimate goal to help women present themselves in an updated and polished manner. Welcome, Jojami. How are you today?
I am fantastic, and this is my favorite subject to talk about. So thank you for having me on. This is a treat.
I'm so happy to have you on. If you remember, Jojami came some time ago with Lana about their podcast, Ladies Roadmap, the Ladies Roadmap, right?
There is correct. It's called Ladies Roadmap, and yes.
Okay. And today we have her alone because she's going to talk about her expertise, style and wardrobe and image. Before we go into that, I would love if you could tell us a little bit about yourself and how you ended up doing image consulting and helping women look their best.
Well, I think most people know that as you watch your children grow, what they tend to play with is sort of what happens to them when they grow up a lot of times. And I was a Barbie fan. I was always dressing my Barbie. But, you know, the funny thing was I grew up in a showbiz family. So my father was an actor. My mother was a dancer. And my sister was a really talented dancer. There's just two of us. So I was always thrown into ballet class and tap class and all these things. And I wasn't really very good at it, but I loved fashion. So I really had to claw and scrape myself to the top of my industry without much support from my family. But I really had a passion for it, and I ended up getting a job in New York City fresh out of my first year of college. And I was repping or doing sales for a couture line of ladies' dresses in New York. And that's how I got my start.
That's really fun. That sounds like really girls play, like a dream come true.
You know, I just had a passion for it. It comes easy to me. And, you know, it was just one of those things that I just love. But, you know, I found out that it's natural for some people. And I think you French ladies have a natural flair for fashion. For a lot of women, it's just confusing. But what is so exciting and what I want to share with everybody today is that fashion is a science, and it's something that can be learned.
Oh.
And I hope we discuss that today. We'll dive into that a little bit deeper.
Yes, because for me, I just love being a woman.
Yes.
And to me, that comes with being a woman. You have the clothes, the accessories, the scarves, the jewelry, the shoes that we're going to talk about. And all that it feels like playing to me. So I'm just discovering.
And that's good for you, but there's so many women that feel like it's a chore.
Oh, wow.
Yes, you would be surprised. So many women, and only because, and it's through my years of experience, I found that the women that say, I don't care about fashion, are the ones that really just don't know how to do it. And it's not fun for them. So let's get in and get some tips for them today, because we're going to change those women around and then hopefully give even the women that love it even more tips.
So my first question, the one that came to mind, is what is the biggest and most common mistake that you see women doing with fashion and image?
So my biggest to answer your question, the biggest faux pas I see is that people don't understand their style. And it's interesting because your hair type, if it's curly, if it's straight, married with your activities and your body type, really can cause confusion. And I want to give you a really good example.
Oh.
So I have a good friend of mine who, again, is one of these women that swore up and down she didn't like fashion and she didn't even want to have anything to do with me when it came to shopping or anything. She didn't want me to help her with her wardrobe. She was just a good friend of mine. But I could see she was really struggling. And what it was, that she was in the corporate world and she had very stick straight hair. So she would cut it short, spike it up, and wear very severe, very contemporary glasses. So when she went to work, she would wear her suit. So everything was very cohesive for her. However, in her everyday life, she was much more bohemian. So when we would go out for dinner or meet at parties, she would wear these really flowy outfits. And then she had this stick straight hair with these really severe glasses. And I kept saying, Elaine, your head doesn't match your body. And I said, you need to decide which way you want to go. If you want to stay really sporty, really dramatic, and you need to stay that way in your everyday life and your corporate life, or you need to grow your hair out. And we can start softening your image for your workplace that is really in line with what's inside of you. So that's what she did. She grew her hair out. We got her different glasses. We got her a different wardrobe for her everyday work. And she is the most happiest person alive now.
Wow. So where you would start would be, what do you love? How do you feel? Who you feel you are? That's where you would start to decide what your style is.
Well, it can go a little bit different. So it depends on what your goals are. So for instance, if you are trying to get a job and you want someone to take you seriously, if you walk in with this long hair and lavender pink blouse and, pink lipstick and long nails, and you just come all frilly and beautiful and feminine, that's not really sending the message that I'm serious and I want to take this job. I want a high-powered, serious job. What I'm telling you right now, I've actually got booed lecturing. Women were like, boo, boo, we don't want to hear this. But the reality is we have to dress for what we want. In your case, you're teaching women how to date. So you want to go on a date. You really want to project who you are on this date. And we really need to analyze that. You need to analyze that for yourself and find out what that is. How do you want to project yourself? Who are you really?
Okay. I know, for example, myself, I would dress differently, like in a podcast, because that's my kingdom. Let's say this is me. I can decide whatever I want. But if I give a talk, so I have dresses that are more formal, a little bit more formal, but I can't go with the too formal because this is not me. And I know that if I dress in a way that is not me at all, my light is not going to shine. I'm not going to be as present, as powerful, as impactful as I would be. So I find some kind of common ground between the formal and who I am, because I do energy work as well. So I'm very, I wouldn't say woo-woo because I'm not really, but I have this, element of imagination and getting out of the box. So I find dresses that could have some kind of formal cut,
right?
but the print that is on them has flowers or something a little bit extravagant.
Right.
Still tie it to my personality. Is that a good path?
That is a perfect example of how you've really strategized how you want to make sure you're presented in a professional manner, yet you have your personality shining through. That is perfection. And the other thing too is, like, even today, you have a really pretty top on. It's a little lower, it's a little more risque, and you would probably not want to choose that when you lecture for something in a corporate. So you really have to, even shoes, you have to be so aware when you're lecturing in a corporate world. A lot of people don't even allow peep toe or sandals.
I know that. That's crazy because so it different. I guess it's different also where you go and also which countries you are in, because when I worked in Israel, and I know it surprised me so much coming from the French corporate world at the time. Like you said, it was more formal, not really open shoes. And then I end up in a position in Israel where I was working with very high level people who were coming to work with Bermudas
Oh,
and very laid back, but their charisma was not through their clothes. They were still well dressed, but
right.
much more laid back. So you really have to be conscious about the environment that you're in, I guess. And
You really do. I mean, look, Silicon Valley has totally blown the top off of corporate dressing. I mean, Mark Zuckerberg is wearing a hoodie to these, and he's a bazillionaire. So you do. And then I've even talked to people where the transition was really interesting when all these young up and coming entrepreneurs the lawyers were coming into the office all dressed up in their 3-piece suits. And finally the lawyers had to change.
Yes.
They had to match. I like to use an analogy of a football team. So if you had a football team, why is it a team? Everybody's wearing the same color, the same style of things. If one of the football players came out in a tutu, he would be, it just wouldn't make sense. And really that is almost the same as a lawyer showing up at a corporate office in Silicon Valley with a bunch of guys in jeans and gals, jeans and t-shirts, and they showing up in this 3-piece suit. It's like the costume, it's the uniform doesn't fit. So it's a strategy. Dressing is a strategy.
And do you feel that it depends on what age range you're in? Because, for example, those companies like Google, like Facebook, they emphasize the individual talent of the employee to really extract the strength of each person. So being different is not such a problem. Right. Now, they are usually younger, although when you think about IT and these kind of departments, even when I was working in corporate, they were the ones who were there coming to work with almost surf pants, like the surfer pants. And nobody found it weird because they were IT people. So somehow they are maybe more original. Do you find that there is a difference based on what age range we are talking about?
Well, that's an outstanding question, because as we age, and now let's just talk about women here because we're all women. I think men can get away with a lot more than women. We really have to be careful. And over a certain age, we do need to really be careful of the crop tops, the tight things, because our bodies are softening, they're rounding. It's just a natural thing. We cannot be ashamed of our bodies. And I really wanted to stress that today. And I wanted to talk about how to dress your body. I don't care what shape, size, skinny, if you're larger, it doesn't matter. I have seen amazing women look gorgeous, all shapes, sizes, heights, and weights. So that's not the problem. But the problem is picking the right clothes that flatter you.
Yeah. Like for me, I'm tall, so I tend to buy long things because as a tall woman, I can do that. If a shorter woman does that, it doesn't look always as great. I cannot have something that is too flowy on the top because I tend to have larger hips. So I accentuate the fact that I'm still thinner in my upper body so that the ensemble is still looking more slender. Although I'm not a slender person, but I'm a little bit round. Do you have like a body shape that would go more with a certain style where you're going to cut
Correct.
the line that cuts or any?
Well, we do. And you can go back to the body shapes, and they all relate to a fruit. So you've got your apples, which are very round with thin legs. So those body types, you got to do the pencil skirts, and you got to show those legs off. And so that's how you accentuate your good parts. If you have wider hips, you're more like a pear. So you're tiny on top with the wide on the bottom. So again, we want to balance it. So you've got the wider on the bottom. So we need to balance the top. I'm not going to say shoulder pads. Actually, they're coming back in style, which is actually great for a lot of pairs because so many women are pairs. But, let me just give you a really good example about a pair. So one of the things women can do to balance themselves is you have to think about your straps. So let's say you are going to wear a strap. If you're a pair, so you're heavier in the bottom, you do not want to wear a tiny, skinny strap.
Yeah.
For some reason, that just does. The wider the strap, that'll help balance you out.
So and even as you grow older, I noticed that tiny straps look great on very young women. Older women, it's not always the best.
And I have to agree. I'm not. I'm pretty much that H, where I'm just like a little boy. I'm just straight up and down. And when I buy bathing suits, I always buy a thick strap. In bathing suits, everybody over
Oh,
40 should wear a thick or a halter straps. It
I
looks.
didn't think about bathing suits.
Yep.
Great point.
Yes. Yes.
Wow. Wow. Well, thank you for bringing
Okay.
it
So we've
up.
got the pear, the apple,
Uh-huh.
the H, like I am, and then what is the other one? Oh, the opposite. So we've got like a swimmer with the triangle at the top,
Okay.
the inverted triangle. So
Yeah.
again, if you have really broad shoulders, you can wear those full skirts because your hips and your legs are smaller. So you want to wear a fuller skirt, and you maybe see. Oh, no, that triangle woman, she definitely doesn't want to wear tiny straps. It is just
Yeah.
going to accentuate her shoulders. So if you
Yes.
are broad shoulders, again, balance yourself out, thicker straps.
So it's all a question of balance, in fact.
It's just balance.
Yeah.
Yes. It's just going in balance. If you stand back, if you put an outfit on, you stand back, you sort of squint your eyes a little bit at the mirror and just sort of see your figure as a faded blob out there. Then you can sort of see if it's working or not. And
Oh,
you know if something makes you look heavier. You go through your closet. This is another thing. I think we don't take enough notice of what really looks good on us. What happens to women is we only wear about 2% of the things in our closet. We wear because what happens is it's the things that fit and they feel comfortable on us and they probably look the best on us. So take note of what you're wearing if those are the things that look good on you, and then analyze it and say, why do I really like these all the time? And then find variations of them. And I'm hoping you're going to talk about color next.
that's what I was going to ask. I was going to say, what about color? Because I know I have a royal blue dress. Every time I wear it, I get so many compliments. So I loved it already, but now I love it even more. So what about color?
So, okay, so we were asking about mistakes. I have to say color can be one of the biggest mistakes that women wear. However, it's one of the things that you do know the best colors on you. Most women know what looks good on them. You should have your colors done professionally, or there's a wonderful site. A friend of ours is Jill Kirsch Color. I'll send you the link. You can put it
Yes.
in the show notes. And she has a color system that's actually just based on the color of your hair. And it's
Yes, you did an interview of her.
I did.
I
We
want to
did.
have her on my show too. I need to contact her.
You got to. Jill is fantastic. She's been working in Hollywood for years, and when the women go on the red carpet, it's so important that their dress enhances them.
Yes.
And if maybe they've dyed their hair for a role, all of a
Yes.
sudden your colors that look good on you are totally changed. So back in the day when there was Color Me Beautiful, and they told all the women, okay, you can have your colors done, but don't dye your hair, don't change your hair color. Your natural hair color is what you really look good in. That's just not practical.
No.
It's not. I mean, and especially today, we all color our hair and we all try different. I mean, people were wearing pink, blue, and
Yeah.
green. We're doing everything to our
Fun.
hair.
Yeah.
But so, ladies, if you're coloring your hair, if let's say you really are brunette, but you're going platinum, you are going to wear totally different colors as a platinum blonde than you do as a brunette. And that's just the fact. It is. And so many women don't know what their colors are. And that's where if you commit to saying, okay, my hair is this color right now, I'm going to stick with my colors. When you go shopping, all of a sudden, decisions become so easy because all of a sudden, half the clothes on the rack are going to go away because they're not your color.
But it's still large. I mean, I see with myself, there is a color that makes me look like a dead body and I never wear it. It's gray. Gray,
Right.
I don't look great in gray at all. So I really don't tend to wear gray. Or if I wear gray, I'm going to have something small and something else close to my face.
Like a scarf or something.
Yes.
So that's a good way of doing it. But just remember, when you go shopping, gray and black are the number 1 and 2 colors to choose from. That's all there is in shopping.
I was just looking at my closet because I just moved. So I was like, I have way too much black, but I love black.
It's
Black
okay.
is classy. It goes with everything. It makes you look thin.
Yes.
I just love black. So that's why accessorizing is also important.
So I have a funny saying, and it says for women to think about this when you go shopping. Do you have this disease? ABD. It's an ABD disease. Abundant black disorder.
I do.
Oh, you're not the only one. Trust me, Mariel. Almost every woman out there has ABD, and so I'm a big color person, which of course I'm wearing black today of all things. But I love wearing color, and I find that it brings me joy and it makes me feel happy when I wear it. And I get like you get compliments when you wear color. You're probably not
Yes.
going to get compliments when you wear black. Someone might say you look lovely today, but when you wear color, you're really announcing to the world that I feel happy today.
Yeah, that's a statement somehow.
Yes.
And colors, because I do energy work, it's also linked to chakras, and each color has a vibrant level at which it vibrates, but we won't go into that today. I have another question on color. I grew up in France, and there was a saying that past a certain time, you don't wear white, because in the olden time in France, the only women who wore white, for example, in winter, were the prostitutes. So it stayed in the culture for so long, and I was like so scared about wearing white in winter. Is it still a thing? Is it a
No.
thing in America? What about that?
So it's so not a thing. And it used to be where you don't wear white till after Labor Day. That was sort
Okay.
of the cutoff point. And when I was growing up, that was definitely a rule that you'd want to follow. But today, it's just not. And also, it really depends on the place and the country, in the area of the country you live in. So, for instance, you and I live in Las Vegas. It is going to be sweltering still in October, and we can still wear white. So we can certainly wear white all year round. People in Florida wear white all year round. So yeah, and even I was living in Delaware for 20 years, and a lot of women on the East Coast, they love white jeans, and they just put on their fuzzy warm sweaters, and they wear their high cute boots with their white jeans, and they look great, and they wear it all year round.
Yeah, I outgrew this belief because I have white sweaters for winter, but that was funny how they you integrate or you accept the beliefs around you when you're a kid, and it stays with you until you work with it.
Right. Well, and I want to say one more thing about color, as far as I did say that most people know what color looks good on them. So something that can be a little confusing for people is that you wear a color and someone says, "Oh, that looks so great on you." So there was a woman that went to one of my lectures one day, and she goes, "I love jewel tones. I love bright blues and everything like anything that's a jewel, like you think of the royal jewels in a crown, rubies and emeralds and all these really beautiful." But her coloring was a summer, which meant she was very pale, very light pinks, muted colors looked so much better on her. But she had a very bright personality, and she decided that she loved jewel tones. So I went into her wardrobe and I gave her a total makeover, and I said, "You've got to get rid of these, because what's happening is," she goes, "instead of, you're getting compliments because the color is wearing you. You are not wearing the color."
Oh, okay.
So you want to be careful when you go into a room, and that's especially important for weddings, mother of the bride, or formal events where you want to look, really stunning. But you have to be careful if you are someone that looks better in pastel or light colors. Be careful of wanting to wear a bright blue or bright orange, because again, you're going to get compliments because it's going to be, "Oh, it's a pretty color," or fuchsia. That's such a popular color,
Yeah.
fuchsia. But it's going to wear you, and you not wear it.
So is there a correlation between, you mentioned your hair color, your skin color naturally, and what color would look good on you? Do you have like pointers that you could give people today, like general pointers?
That's where it is such a trial and error. And, skin tone, so for instance, different people with darker skin tones and all their hair is dark, they do have different skin tones, and different colors look better on them than others. Some people have warm tones in their skin and they look better in the warmer tones. And then other people have cool tones and they look better in cool. So you really need to find out if you're a warm or a cool and stay with those colors. It can be incredibly confusing, and getting a professional to help you find out with those things, which color you are, if you're not quite clear on it, is really important. And then really the best way to do it is just get in front of a mirror with a light, put a white sheet around you, and just start holding up different your blouses or tops.
Wow.
And just from here up, just see, you will see quickly. You said to me earlier, you have a color that makes you look like death warmed over.
Yes.
For some people, it's that moss green color. That can be a death color. Now that is actually going to look good on you or me.
Yeah.
I look good in that ugly color. So, or a rusty gold color.
That's what I was going to ask. I love the rusty.
The mustard. Yes, that looks so good on people like you and me that wear warm colors and they have the warmer tone hair. But on people that are, like a winter would be someone that is jet black hair and very, very fair. You put that mustard in front of them and they look horrendous. You can't believe that a color can look so different on different people. So that's how you do it.
When you talk about dating, you see everywhere out there that you need to wear red. To me, first of all, it took me a long time to wear red, and I don't wear full red because I have some kind of red on my face, so it accentuates it.
Good. That's good. You know that.
But yet they almost say that if you want to be sexy, you have to wear red, which is such a mistake in my opinion, because you don't always look the best in red. So let's talk about red because in whites. So these are two colors that are really interesting to me. So with the four colors, and I'm just going to use seasons because that's the easiest way to look at it, is spring, summer, winter, fall. So there's a cool, which is the winter and the summer. Those are cool colors. Summer, isn't that funny? It's a cool color. Oh, that's
and
funny, yeah.
The fall and the spring are warm colors. So there are two types of red. So there's a cool red, which is the blue red, which is what Santa Claus or Coca-Cola has, is a blue red.
Okay.
And then there's more of an orange red, which is easy to imagine.
Yes.
You can really see an orange in an orange red. So if you are a warm, again, I'll repeat, if you are a fall or spring, which means, so spring colors are the tulips. So brilliant daffodil yellows and all the colors of the tulips. Those are spring colors and they're warm. So they look really good with browns. So our second color that's really best on us is brown, really, than black. Yeah. Then the cool people, which is the winters, which is the jewel tones we talked about earlier, and the summer, which is all the beautiful pastel pinks and blues, like the desert colors. Those are cool colors. And those are the ones that are going to look better, in the cool colors. So those are the two. That's the way you do it. So that'll be the cool red, which would be a blue red. And then it could same with white. So if you want to wear white, if you, like you and me, were warm, we want our white to have a bit of cream in it to warm up the white. So we'll do an off-white, a creamy white. So if you had a choice between summer sweaters or winter sweaters, you don't want to go with the white, stark white. You want to go with the creamier white. It's going to look better on you. It's going to enhance you, believe it or not. Try it. And
actually, now that I'm thinking about it, mine are white with a dash of cream in it. They're not white.
Right. Because so you think of Snow White, the character Snow White, she's got the very dark hair and very pale. She's a true winter, and her dress is the royal blue with the crisp white collar and that blue red. That is a true winter, and they can wear the whites and they can wear the blue reds.
Okay.
If you tried it, if I tried a blue red on, it's not going to look good. It's going to clash.
Yeah, I don't. That's why I didn't even realize about the different tones of red.
Mm-hmm.
I know I have very bright orange jackets and stuff, and it really looks good on me.
Yes.
That's what I naturally tend to go to.
Yes.
But yeah, you're right.
So I look at you and I think of you as autumn, like myself, which is when you think of a Thanksgiving table.
Yes.
The eggplants, the yellow squash, the pumpkin colors. Those are all in browns of the baskets. So those are all our colors. It looks good. Now, black is a neutral color. It goes on everybody. Yeah. And there's one other color that looks good on everybody, and it's going to surprise you.
Which one?
And it's a turquoise blue. Like,
Oh, thank God I love turquoise. I
because I
have
don't really wear
turquoise
blue.
jewelry, turquoise
Yes.
clothes.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So that's a universal color.
Oh,
And
wow.
those are the two universal, black and turquoise.
That's good to know. So, based on what season you would be,
Yes.
can you say that, let's say I'm autumn, but I want to find some kind of blue that I could wear. Is there a way to still wear a color with a different nuance, a different tone of the color?
Absolutely. So a blue that would look good on you, I'm trying to think of how you say it. It's a green blue.
A green blue.
I
Okay.
don't know what, I can't believe I can't think of the name of it, but like a greeny teal. It's the teal blues.
Okay.
So that's a good blue. Navy, you've got a lot of red in your hair, so you might be able to go with navy, but it's not going to be your best color.
Not the best, no.
The teal is really where you want to go.
Okay. And
again, if you think of it, it's all going to be harmonious. So if you've got a palette of colors, and that's one thing that Jill Kirsch sells that I would even recommend for everybody. You can get these little palette of colors and you'll see they're all harmonious. So when you think of that Thanksgiving table, that teal blue is going to go lovely with the mustard color.
yes. Yes.
It's just harmonious. If you put navy blue with mustard, it's okay.
Yeah.
But the teal blue really is harmonious. And one more thing about that is everybody looks good in silver or gold, but you're going to look better in the gold if you're warm tones, and you're going to look better in silver if you're cool, which does make sense because silver's a cool
to me,
color.
it makes sense because silver is like a gray.
Yes.
And gray for me doesn't work that well.
Right.
So, what about patterns?
Great question. It's difficult. So again, let's talk about your harmonizing and making the body balanced out. So let's say you're really wide across the shoulders. Let's not wear stripes, horizontal stripes.
Yeah.
You want to wear vertical stripes.
Mhm.
You're very, very tall. If you're tall like yourself, you really don't want a vertical stripe in a pant. It's just going to make you look lanky. So you have to be careful. So stripes can be tricky. And also I find another huge faux pas, I don't know what it is about designers. They love to make black blousy tops with a giant white ring right around your hip area.
Oh, that accentuates if you
Yes.
have large hips. That's it.
Yes.
That's
It does.
it.
Yeah, you just can't. And we have to be careful of belts over a certain age.
Yeah.
Now, certain women, if you're a true hourglass figure, I would like to use Oprah Winfrey as a true hourglass figure.
Yeah.
She can really dress fantastic
Yes.
for her weight. And hourglass is really one of the most, if you're going to have an hourglass figure, it's very desirable because you can tuck in, wear a belt, and look fantastic. But most women cannot tuck in. It looks
yes,
too
when you
bulky.
get to a certain age, although I'm working on it, you tend to have more fat on the stomach.
Yes.
And certain things that used to work don't work as well anymore. I know.
It's true. You have to be careful. However, there's still Spanx, which is the godsend of the gods. Those Spanx, and I mean, the actresses wear up to 2 to 3 pairs.
No way.
Yes, they do.
Wow, how can they breathe?
They can't. My sister was so funny. She told me the other day she was out on a date with her husband, and she never has worn Spanx because she's always been thin. But all of a sudden, her body's starting to change, even though she's been thin her whole life. So she thought, I'm going to go get some Spanx. Halfway through dinner, she got bug-eyed and was like, I have to go in the ladies' room and take these Spanx off. I'm going to die.
Yes.
So you have to be careful not to get the right size that isn't too tight.
Yeah, because it can even damage your organs or something.
Yeah, I guess so. It'd be like a corset.
But they're great. See that we're going back to corset? I'm horrified. Coco Chanel was the one who shortened the dresses and removed the corsets at that time. And we're going back to it. It's such, to me, it's a step back.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I don't see how, when you look at American women, the average American woman is overweight. And I just don't think she's going to do that. I just don't think it's going to be comfortable for her or practical.
But the young girls, because my daughter is 21 and I see what they talk about and what they look at.
Oh, so they're trying to use the corsets to actually deform their bodies.
Yeah, to even just to wear as a, I'm just,
Well, we're lucky because after a certain age, we don't have to look at fashion anymore.
Yeah.
We don't really.
No. And that's another point. Some women think that they have to stick to what's the latest in trend. And I know I've been criticized when I was younger in France because I buy what I like. And if I don't like what's trendy at the moment, I'm going to go with whatever I like. Sorry. And I've been looked at weirdly, especially in France, because, oh, that's not sweating, or how can you wear that? What's your approach on that?
I definitely am with you on this. After a certain age, we know what looks good on us. Our bodies are changing. We can't wear that corset. Literally, we can't.
Yeah.
It just does not. It's going to look silly on us. So you just have to be a little more. You can have fun with fashion. You can, and have fun with color and shoes. I mean, that's one of those things. Our shoes. You can always wear a cute pair of shoes to update something. That's really where you can update, is in your shoes.
So that's where we were talking about black. When I'm dressed all in black, I usually wear a very bold color shoe to somehow bring some light in all that dark.
Yes.
Are there other ways than the shoes, or are
the scarf? The scarf.
Oh yeah, the scarf.
And it's funny because for you, you can Google this. I actually did a video probably 20 years ago about how to tie a scarf. And I said at the beginning of the video, what is it about French women? They just have a way with scarves, and we American women are just so struggling with these things. Like, what do you do with that? So, we weren't raised to wear scarves, and it's a tricky thing. So it just to throw it on and make it look just like you've just, say la vie about it. It's just so natural and pretty. It's a little bit tricky for some women. And, but scarves are an awesome way of update, just bringing some color to your face. And it doesn't ever go out of style, really.
No. And the same scarf worn in different positions can look completely different and is a completely different style. That's what I like about it.
You can, and for travel, it's an essential because you can really make your outfits look different. You can bring 3 or 4 scarves with one black dress and you look like you have a couple of outfits on.
True. And what about jewelry?
Yes. And of course, jewelry is, again, that can be a little bit trendy. So you can, spice it up. Like right now, I'm seeing more of a clunkier look. Like what you have on today is really coming in style. So, just be aware of it. Like, look at your earrings. You got these fabulous hoop earrings. Those are very updated right now. You look very chic and updated just because of jewelry. Yeah,
it does enhance an outfit.
Yeah. Yes. And then think about your hair. Another thing that I think is, I want to say this about women with long hair. I think women can have long hair at any age. Actually, your hair is gorgeous. You can do it. I actually just cut mine, but I was wearing it long and I don't have a problem with it. But I have a problem with women that just wear it just like down to their bottom with just straight across, just no style to it. It just doesn't have any flair to it. And it can drag you down. And as we age, our face is sagging. Yeah. So you have to be careful that you have a hairstyle that doesn't pull you down.
Okay.
So your hair can really update your wardrobe too.
Yes. And based on what you're wearing, you can do different styles.
And also growing your hair. I mean, sometimes I see so many women, the faux pas I see is women just cut their hair and then it's so difficult to grow it out that they don't do it. And they just stay stuck in this rut with short hair.
Yeah, when you have
it might not be flattering. And again, balance. If you are a pair and you have this very short hair, it's not going to balance you.
Oh, true. Okay.
So we're going back to balance again. So it's the whole thing. It is everything. It is shoes, jewelry, hair, makeup. And I think one of the easiest things for women to look youthful is just to not wear too much makeup, but to wear makeup. A little foundation, under eye cream, concealer. Make sure you have those eyebrows on. Eyebrows are so important to really give your eye a lift. So,
and it's great because now there is those, how is it called?
They can get tattoo. It's a tattoo, like a tattoo eyebrow, which again, you have to be careful of that because those can be, if they're not done properly, they can actually look fake and
Horrible. Yeah.
horrible. And also they do fade, so you have to keep them up. You have to
Oh,
continue
okay.
getting them.
I've never done it, but I was looking at it and I was like, interesting.
I was absolutely considering it because my eyebrows are going gray and I have to draw them on every morning. I was getting tired of it, but it can look a little fake too.
Yes.
So and there's wonderful, especially in Vegas, there's some wonderful artists that are doing microplaning, I think, or something like that. I can't remember.
Microbracing, something.
Something like that, yeah. They have like it's a little razor that draws like little hairs almost. So that looks pretty natural. They're getting better. The technology is there.
It's quality. You have to really be sure about the quality that you're getting.
Yes. And let's talk about yellow teeth.
Okay, go ahead.
That is so aging. And so, get some teeth whiteners or get those, it can be expensive to get the professional ones, but literally a crest whitening strip and do it a couple times a week on a regular basis. You can really brighten up your teeth, and your teeth can age you. And you start wearing red lipstick with yellow teeth, it will accentuate the yellow.
I'm going to have to look at my teeth.
Your teeth look great.
I'm wearing Invisalign lately, so it has changed the way I relate to my teeth. I still have a few more months to go, but
yeah. So I mean, I don't want to make this to be like this Debbie Downer. You got to do all these things to yourself. But if we're just aware of it, we can start putting in different habits and thinking about ourselves a little differently. And let's not get stuck in a rut. I mean, this is just me, and this is not for everybody, because I know some people find a hairstyle that they just love. Like, for instance, you probably wouldn't want to cut your hair because for some reason, I feel like it balances you out. You've got pretty hair. It's soft. It's romantic. My sister has beautiful, long, blonde, curly hair. And if she cuts it, it looks horrendous on her.
Yes.
But she keeps it very trimmed up and layered and fresh looking. Whereas just a big, long blob on your head. Yeah. I think the only woman that really pulls that off is Jane Seymour, the actress.
Well, but she's Jane Seymour.
She's Jane Seymour. She's gorgeous. She can do no wrong in my eyes.
And I noticed that haircuts that used to look good on me when I was younger don't anymore because the face shape.
Yeah, our face changes. Yes, so definitely.
I'm all about variety anyway. I think that we need to express the richness of who we are into our hairstyle, our clothes, our jewelry, everything, because it's a general ensemble.
You know what I think you're saying is? It is your inside coming out. And I can tell you what you're saying is 100% true. If you put 10 women in a room in front of me and just say, I just want you to dress like you would normally dress, I can tell you who's in a good mood. I can tell you what job they are. I can tell, it's like being a fortune teller. What you're wearing is really screaming how you feel about yourself and who you are as a person and what you're attracted to. And you should listen to that.
And the opposite is true. If you don't put enough effort in the way you're looking, you're not going to feel great about yourself. So in the dating world, it's crucial. The first person who's going to honor you and love you is yourself. And that's how it should be. So if yourself don't even put the effort there, how do you want that somebody else would look at you and find you beautiful and admire you? You need
I really want to agree with you on that. And I can tell you there are going to be women that are going to fight you on that.
I know they do.
They're going to fight you on it because they fight me on it. But I just know for myself, if I go to Home Depot and I wear just a plain t-shirt and a pair of flip-flops and a shorts, I can walk in there and I'm invisible. Yes. And women complain about being invisible. If I don't have any makeup on, I am invisible. But one day I happened to have on this cute little top with it was sheer, had some sparkles on it. I had these little wedge heels on, and I had a pair of shorts on, but I was pulled together. I had my makeup on. I must have got stopped 5 times at the Home Depot by women saying, "Wow, you look so cute." How do I feel? I feel fantastic about that. I felt good about myself, and it gives you encouragement. If you do try it and you start getting compliments, then you'll see why it's important, because all of a sudden you look confident and you look stylish and you look like you care, like you're saying, you care about yourself. And it's such a subtle little thing. But again, if women are not dressing, it's usually because they don't like to shop, because they get overwhelmed when they go to a store and they don't know what colors look good on them, and they're frustrated. They don't ever look good. Their bodies have changed, and they put on a pair of pants and they look horrible. So ladies, if I'm describing you go Google image consultant, and you can literally do a 2-hour session with, I'm sure there's image consultants out there that for 2 hours for a couple $100 will transform you. Even if they got you one new outfit that was in your colors, that looked good on your body, that head to toe. I'm talking, you might even need a new bra. I've bought my clients bras when they show up. They get those boobies up. Don't have them sagging. It's like it's the whole package, and from the head to toe.
That brings something up, because I had a coaching client once that was going back to dating, and she had some gray hair. In French, they're white, but here, gray. And she asked me, what do you think I need to do about my gray hair? I said, why do you ask? She said, because I want somebody who will accept me the way I am, and I don't have to change. And why should I change? And I said, why did you bring it up? She said, I don't know. I said, you brought it up because somehow, on some level, it disturbs you. So if you were able to wear it without thinking a second thought about it, I look great, I'm fabulous, go with it.
Yes.
If you have the tiniest doubt, that means something in you is not aligned with that. Go change that right away. It's not about making a statement of feminism. Sometimes women go too far and it plays against them.
Yes.
It's not about saying you're gonna love me the way I am, but yet they look at a guy and said, "Oh, I don't want a guy with some stomach."
Yeah, exactly.
Hello. So make yourself feel great from head to toe, whatever you have to do, as long as it doesn't become an addiction with plastic surgery. But
yes,
as long as you know it disturbs you, it's gonna be, the world is reflecting what you think inside. So be careful, look your best, like make an effort to love yourself in the mirror, and then everything is gonna go better. Don't you?
I so agree with you. And it's very difficult because women today, we are, it's like it's a double-edged sword. We make ourselves look pretty, and then we get harassed in the workplace, or then we go opposite, where we just let everything go to pieces, and we become a feminist, and then all of a sudden a man doesn't even want to look at you anymore. So it's all isn't it balance? I think that's our word of the day, is balance. Yeah. Everything is balance, and especially if you're trying to get dating. And if you were going on a job interview, you're going to dress up and make yourself look presentable the best you can for a job interview. And that's what dating is. It is a job interview.
Completely. That's always what I say. It's a job interview, and you qualify them. They don't qualify you, but you need to look your best. Which brings a last question I would like to ask, because you mentioned it earlier. Cleavage and the sexy dressing, because in dating, I like I'm French. So what the difference between what I've seen here in America and the question of being sexy and love and romance, I remember giving a speech in Toastmasters about what's your ideal Valentine's Day evening. And some guys in the room were like, I come home and she's naked on a, on
a bed or a couch.
Yeah, something. And I was like, guys, a little bit of imagination. Why naked? The leaving space to imagination is so much richer. And that's what I would say here. Leave space to imagination. Don't go fully dressed like you're ready to have sex in the next 5 minutes, and then complain that you attract only the guys who are in for sex. So what about cleavage and the way you present yourself, depending on where you are and what you're doing?
So some women have large breasts.
Yes.
So that's where you're going to really have to be careful, because those are sexy to men. Yes. And so you have to really be careful of what you're presenting out there, on a first date, especially or a second date. And I would always err on being more conservative, for sure. Your personality is what's sexy, not your clothes or your outfit. I mean, you could be showing lots of cleavage, but be very prim and proper, and then you're sending really mixed messages.
Yeah.
So you have to be careful. There's a lot of women, especially here in Vegas, and they like to dress sexy, and that's who they are. But I think you said it best in that that's what you're going to attract. You're going to attract a man that says, "Ooh, that she looks like she's, ready for bed, to play." But then, if you don't have, if you're not as voluptuous, then you can wear a lower cut thing and not feel so, it's not going to be so obvious. But I definitely think erring on the side of being conservative is always better at the beginning. And then as things go along, and if it's something that you really feel comfortable with, then be yourself.
Yeah. And what I always say also is a shoulder is sexy.
Yes.
A hand is sexy. A
Yes.
foot is sexy. It all depends on how you reveal what space you leave for the imagination. It's extremely important. And be aware of how you feel when you wear it. What's the first thing that comes to your mind? One question I ask everyone. Oh, you went down. Okay.
I'm sorry. There. Okay. How's that?
No problem. One question I ask every guest is about self-love, because a lot of women, you hear everywhere, you need to love yourself. People don't even know where to start. Women are like, it's a thing, they don't know where to grab it from. What is your definition of self-love?
My definition of self-love is just, I would say, being self-love yourself is to keep growing and keep learning. And that way you take it off yourself. And take it off yourself, quit looking at yourself and just improve yourself. That's what I would think self-love is just educating yourself and growing.
Okay. Growth. Yeah. I love growth. Where can people reach you or get in contact with you if they have questions or they want to check out what you're doing?
So I have a website. It's JoJami.com. And it's JoJami.com. And I'm residing in Las Vegas, but I also take clients in Orange County and Los Angeles. I've also had clients fly me to wherever they are, but I am in Las Vegas based. And I'd love for you to in touch with me at my address is JoJami@JoJami.com.
And I'll put that in the description as well.
Okay.
Before we part, is there one last thing, or you want to really emphasize one thing that you want women to know about style and image?
Yes. I mean, I would just say, get out there and find out what your colors are and find out what style that matches your hair. Do some research on it, try new things, shop with a friend. And sometimes shopping with a friend can be great because they'll pick out something for you and say, you got to try this on. It might not work, but then it just might. Actually, a tip about shopping with a friend, I do want to say that be careful who you shop with, because if they are,
I was going to ask.
I was going to say, I have actually my business partner, Lana, who you've met, is tall, thin, and blonde. So we have totally different colors and body types. And every time I shop with her, I get depressed because everything she puts on looks so beautiful on her. And I get really depressed. So be careful. She's different colors than me. One time I went shopping with my sister-in-law, and she's very bohemian, and I'm not. I'm much more sporty and tailored. And I got home with this baggy linen pant outfit that I never wore because I went with find someone that has a similar body shape as you, coloring as you, and style as you, and then get them to help you to expand your mind.
Yeah, open your mind. That's a great thing. And also, that reminded me, don't listen to just anybody about the way you look, because some people are they don't have an open mind.
Right.
And they would come to you with comments trying to be a positive critic for what you're wearing that goes with your style but is not theirs. And I had cases where people came to me and said, you shouldn't wear that because this or that, where I know it fits me, it fits my personality, it fits my body. So have some discernment there too.
Yes. I mean, that is it. Just be confident, be confident in yourself. It's hard to do, but you've been dressing yourself longer than anybody else. So you do know, you basically know what looks good on yourself, but
Yeah.
get out of your rut too. So many women get in a rut.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much, JoJami. That was really rich. I love what we talked about. I've learned a few stuff, so I'm gonna go look at my closet and see where I need to make some changes. Go
Good.
look at my makeup. I know I need to buy some makeup. And
Makeup doesn't have to be expensive either.
yeah,
That's another big thing. It's just packaging. So most of it's packaging. So don't be afraid to go to the Target or the Walmart and replenish your mascara with some good L'Oreal mascara. It's inexpensive and it works fantastic.
okay. I personally use natural stuff because my eyes are very, very
Oh,
sensitive.
okay. Yes. Yeah. And that's actually even better.
That is
Yes.
not expensive. I order on Amazon and it's not expensive and it works.
There's a lot of I'm actually going that way myself. I think the less toxins that we put in our bodies, the better. I think that's great.
Thank you, JoJami. And for our audience, go check out jojami.com so you can. Do you have pictures there of people that you've helped?
Yes.
So
And
that
also stop over at Ladies Roadmap too for
yes, the lady. I'll put the link there too. And we have another episode if you want to go and listen back to JoJami and Lana. It was really a nice, fun interview.
yeah, it was
Uh,
about self-confidence, and that's
and it was about also reinventing
in
yourself
reinvention.
at any
Yes.
age and following your passion, because that, when you're lit up from inside, there is nothing else like being lit up from inside and being alive and having that flame going. And you guys have that.
Oh,
What you're doing is great. It's an example for women from any age. That age should never stop you in
no,
going for what you want to go, what lights you up.
exactly. Exactly. So let your clothes light you up. You should have fun every morning getting dressed.
Fabulous sentence to end on. I'll see you next week. And meanwhile, let your clothes light you up. Bye.
Bye.